Hey everyone, my name is Donna, my pronouns are he, him, and tonight I'm facilitating a game of a Town Called Malice by David Kizzia. We are playing this as a prequel to a set of games we played last year, Alice is Missing and Monster Hearts 2. So we're going back to the 70s, to the old town history of Silent Falls. Um, we've already done our characters and we're about to do the relationships and do the rest of the town setup. And we have a cat, an acrobat, an acrocat. Is it the proper? I mean, all cats are acrobats. This one wants to be on mic. So let's have a really quick introduction to our characters, and then we'll do those relationships. Stephen, do you want to start? And we'll go left to right in the character keeper.
Hey there, I am Steven, he, him. I've been here in the Gauntlet a couple of years, or 3 or 4 at this point, I forget. I am playing, and I should change my character name here, Clara North, who look, we don't know yet what exactly the weird relationships of this town are to the world. I am the daughter, ancestor, question mark, of one of the player characters in our Monster Hearts run. And I am the stranger. I have come to town to uncover the truth of my mother's mysterious disappearance into the woods 20 years ago, and possibly burn the woods down, freeing myself from this town forever. Who knows? We'll see. I mean, what we see in the future is that does not work. So the woods are still there.
Thanks, Stephen. Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark, he, him pronouns, and I am playing Alex Holwell, he, him, who is the town medic, and is stays here in Silent Falls to take care of his aging mother, Anya. And that's the short lowdown on Alex at the moment.
Okay, cool. I'll be playing Zachariah Barnes, also he, him, who is the law in this town. He just wants a quiet life. I mean, drunkards and fighting and general trouble he can deal with, but a lot of new people in town is a lot of new problems. So the less of that, the better. Max, how about you?
Hi, my name is Max. I use they, them pronouns. My character is the local, whose name is Ruthie Briarwood, and she has been in this town longer than anyone else. And her main motivation is to protect the woods where her ancestors are buried and still reside. And we know from history, or from the future, excuse me, we know from the future that the woods are host to a number of covens, witch covens, and so this may give some clues as to the origin of those groups.
Awesome. And Jose.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jose, and my pronouns are he and him, and I'm playing Lorraine Briarwood, whose pronouns are she and her. Lorraine is a big part of the criminal element in Silent Falls, and she deals some weed, grows some weed in these aforementioned woods. And she's recently branched out into prostitution as well. She has ambitions. She is a woman with ambitions, and she is looking to gain the advantage. All the changes that are coming to Silent Falls, she wants to be on top of them. And that's Lorraine.
Okay, cool. So let's go back around the table, Stephen, you should, if you want to classify, as good or bad, and then describe one of your relationships. So one of your relationships will be with Mark's character Alex, and the other with Lorraine Briarwood, Jose's character.
Yeah, the one I was thinking up off the top of my head, Mark, if that's okay, I think, did we date in high school?
It's brilliant. Perfect.
And I think generally you're wasted here. Like, I think that's also something I think about you being in this town. I think it's a height relationship though, even though it's judgmental.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the same flavor in both directions, right? Someone
Yeah.
can hold a grudge about this, and another person can say it's fine, right? Awesome. Mark, you can describe the counter on that relationship, or establish initial shots with my character.
Yeah. I think that we'll direct this over toward Zach Araya Barnes. And Alex feels like it's got kind of a negative relationship with Zach. And it is based on Alex feels, I think, like he's more dedicated to the town than Barnes, which probably isn't a reality, but he feels like he's connected to the town in a way that that Barnes isn't, and that Barnes maybe isn't doing enough to protect the citizens.
Yeah, sounds good. I think I will send a send a die back in your direction. And say that Zachariah is kind of a little bit tired of Alex's moralizing or sermonizing. He's always wiser than everyone else. Is that fair? I mean, it may not be fair, but is that okay?
Can you repeat what you just said, please?
So this is directed at Mark's character Alex. So this is that Zach feels that Alex is a little bit superior, moralizing, wiser than thou. And yeah, Zach doesn't like that one bit. So Max, do you want to establish one of your two relationships?
Yeah, I'm thinking my relationship with Zach is on the positive side. Not that we're close, but I feel a kinship in the sense that Zach really is trying to keep people out of the woods, and that feels very important to me. And so Zach is kind of doing my wishes without necessarily realizing it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does realize it. So I think that's what I'll put.
Okay. Cool. Jose, how about you?
So I'm thinking that I'd like to do Lorraine's relationship with Ruthie, and could we be sisters, Ruthie? Is that too close? Is that okay with you? We kind of look alike.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we totally look alike, actually. I mean, I wonder if it's the same person. I think we are at the very least half sisters. So you can decide.
Sure, let's be half sisters. That'll introduce some interesting complexity into it. So let's be half sisters. And I think there's already something baked into their questions because of our attitude towards the resort and are kind of at odds. So I think we have, we bash heads a lot around the direction the town should be taking. And Lorraine wants to develop the town, and Ruthie wants to keep it, protected from outside influences. Is that okay?
Yes.
I'll write that in.
Okay. So let's go back around and then have everyone describe their other relationship. So Stephen, you have one with Jose's character.
Yeah, my other relationship is going to need to be a cult relationship with Lorraine. I think that like and let me know if this is interesting to you. I think that I know you were the last person to see my mother before she disappeared, but like you've always refused to say what it was about.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, that's mysterious.
So is Clara somewhat younger than Lorraine? Then I'm trying to get a picture of.
Yeah, I'm like Alex's contemporary.
Okay.
Because my mother probably would have also been a fair bit younger than you. Like given the photos of Lorraine and Ruthie.
Okay, Mark, how about your? Oh, you've already filled it in.
I'm sorry, I just kind of jumped the gun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to. So I had to eat. We should have one cult and one height, right?
Yeah.
Or heights. So I went with this one for the height relationship for Clara North. So Alex is elated to see Clara return. He kind of regrets and wishes that he'd been able to leave town when she did, but He's also hurt that Clara wouldn't stay with him, but still overall a positive relationship.
Cool. Yeah, I think my Zach's relationship with Ruthie is positive as well. I think maybe to lean into something you mentioned, Max. I don't think Zach really knows what is going on in the woods, and maybe doesn't care to, but is like glad that Ruthie takes care of that kind of stuff. I mean, he tidies the mess up later and tries to convince people to not go into the woods at night. But I think the relationship is that he is glad that Ruthie is around to take care of the weird side of things. Does that sound okay? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And then I guess your second relationship with your half sister.
Okay. It'll be a cult relationship, and yeah, I think that maybe Lorraine is a little bit younger than Ruthie, and so Ruthie is just, has that sense of being irritated that an older sibling has for a younger sibling. And, Ruthie feels like Lorraine is basically trying to kill the old ways that Ruthie is trying to protect. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, awesome. And finally, Jose, your second relationship with Clara.
Okay, so we've established that Clara. I think that Lorraine. I think that Clara looks like her mother. Has a striking resemblance to her mother, and Lorraine was basically in love with her mother back then, so she has a transference there that she wants to care for Clara, even though Clara doesn't seem to like her very much. I will put that in.
Okay. So the next thing we do is we detail a little bit locations specific to our character and kind of an NPC, what's called a civilian at that location. So so these are all a little bit pre-canned. So if you go to the town tab, I've ticked the boxes on all the locations that we have. So it's the tavern, for the criminal, the station for the law, the cafe for the local, the infirmary for the medic, and the hub for the stranger. So, I mean, if some of these are kind of really obvious, like I guess the station is the police station. But if you want to have a thought about what the nature is of that, and maybe give it a name if it needs a name. If you want to change the picture, you are more than welcome to. It's just the pre-canned ones that I have. I'll start with the station, given that it doesn't need a load of details. But I like the picture that I got for this, which is basically of like a prefab, maybe behind the scenes. Like no one wants to approve funding to like buy or build a police station for the sheriff and his lone deputy probably. So I think I think this like sheriff's office is, maybe behind a regular business. No amenities to speak of. Certainly not a cell or a jail that you would feel comfortable leaving someone in overnight. Certainly not if it was cold, right? You know, pretty low rent. Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to jump in with to give a bit of color to their relationship or their location?
So I'm just out of curiosity. You can't leave people overnight. Does that mean that inevitably Sheriff Zach has a guest room at his house where he actually has to house people overnight?
Well, I think drunks in winter get to sleep in the guest room, right? That is how it goes. I don't think I've ever
And then it's
had
back to the cell in the morning.
Or, we just kick you out, or the judge will be over to see you tomorrow. It's going to shock, a well-paid medical examiner from the big city, right?
I mean, I know what kind of town Silent Falls is. The hub is so I add a hub to the town. The hub is the connection point to the outside world and civilization, whether it's the local bus depot, the airfield, or last train station out of town. So, we actually established there is a lighthouse here in town. I'm wondering if it's actually a ferry port. That's the main connection. Oh, but we also established there were a motorcycle gang.
There was a train station too, I think.
Yeah, and a train station. Okay, yeah, I guess it will be the train station then. That is still that is the main hub, the train station. Name an additional civilian at this location. The mechanic, or for example, the mechanic or the counter attendant. Yeah, I think it's the counter attendant. And I'll just see, do we have the train station here? Where's the hub? Yeah. It's the train station. I think that the person is let me look over here.
We don't need to do those people yet.
Okay.
Let's just do the locations first, and then we can.
But yeah, I think it's a train station then.
Okay. Mark, any thoughts for the infirmary?
Yeah, the infirmary, I think, is it's a repurposed tiny former business office with a very small waiting room and an even smaller exam room, very old equipment. It's extremely bare bones. So it's just going to be Alex and the nurse that work there.
Okay. Max, I've got the cafe as the next option. Any thoughts on this?
The cafe, I'm going to say, is a little bit dark and dirty. And it's very kitsch in terms of its decor. Like it has pictures of, like it has macrame art maybe on the walls and um, pictures of children with large heads and big eyes, things like that. And basically it has two waitresses, and that's it.
Awesome. And lastly, we've got the. What am I forgetting? What have I swapped over? Oh, the tavern. Where the criminal hangs out.
So we're going to have to use the dripping dagger since it's the institution that we've established. So I think Lorraine inherited the dagger from her father, and she uses it to hold court for all her business dealings. And even though it sounds like a dump, it's actually not as unsavory as it sounds because she runs a tight ship and she keeps it clean, and she makes sure there's no trouble happening within the tavern. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So for those locations, we create one NPC, one additional civilian for that location. So on the civilians tab, you'll see that there's each of our locations is there, and there's basically two options for NPCs at that location. I'm going to pick the dispatch for the station. Rarely seen but always heard, fields all incoming calls to the station, reaching out to the law whenever needs, and is first friendly voice in a crisis. So I and we may see this person like on camera at some point in time, but for the most part we just hear their voice. I am going to make this Melanie Brown. She, her. I think she's a relatively young woman. Not that you know it from her kind of dispatch voice is very good. So, yeah. I guess that is more or less that. Jump for a picture. Oh, I have neglected to put in the image ones for that, for those URLs. So let me fix that and let you get on to your description.
Is that me? Is that to me?
Sorry. You can go in any order. So if anyone has a good idea, go first.
I've got one already, so I just put him in. So it's the muscle. So we just call him Wolf. And he is both the bouncer and the bartender at the Dagger. And he makes sure that no one gets out of control.
Okay, cool. Max, do you want to go for one of your cafes waitresses?
Yeah, I chose Marge North, and there's an image of her. She's no nonsense, and she knows everyone. Gossip, gossip, gossip. And the talk says that those pictures of the kids with the big eyes are actually surveillance devices through which Marge acquires her information.
That's awesome.
Mark, how about you?
I chose the nurse. It's Janine Staples. She, her. And I guess I don't have any more info on her at the moment.
Okay. And Stephen, someone for your hub.
Yeah, I was actually thinking through here, and I was just piqued by the idea. Oh, where is that? I think it is the woman that works the counter of the that works the booth of the train station. And I'm gonna get a picture, but I'm just gonna piqued by the idea. I'm just gonna get yet a younger photo of the actress Jill Larson, who plays the old woman in the the creepy old woman of Ruthie's photo, and she is just your youngest sister. But she is also the town's biggest gossip.
Of course.
Loving all the gossip.
What else can you do in a small town, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So that is our starting list of civilians. We can add extra NPCs just like we can locations at any point. And the last thing we do in terms of kind of establishing material about the town is to fill in details about the body, which we shall see in a scene pretty much straight out of the gate. The event, a planned community activity or problem establishment that's going to solve all of our problems, and then the darkness, an unnamed horror that lurks out of sight. So I think we can start with the event, given that we kind of already discussed this a little bit. We had mentioned that there is an unfinished resort by the coast that needs an angel investor to get back on schedule after the last developer embezzled all the funds. So the impression I got was like basically there's going to be a visiting investor that will pump the money that no one else has into this. Does that still sound okay for everyone? Okay. So in terms of mechanics, in our characters tab, you'll see on the left-hand side, there's a space where we're keeping track of dice pools for the body, the event, and the darkness. And the event will start with 1 die. And our kind of mechanical goal is to get as many dice as possible into the event and as few as possible in the body and the darkness. But the game is going to fight us on that. Okay. Any ideas for the darkness? What this unnamed horror that lurks out of sight, quietly growing in power as it destroys the town, or as it aims to destroy the town?
So is it straight up the woods, or is it something else?
I mean, woods related for sure, right? But
it'd be good if the woods are kind of a catch-all for lots of different possibilities in there.
Yeah, I mean,
but maybe it comes from the woods.
Maybe the woods or the darkness is something that was summoned by a coven who operates in the woods, and they lost control of it. Maybe there was like a witch war, and one coven summoned this darkness, and it's never gotten fully contained.
So like the woods are a malevolent entity, which is kind of maybe just waking up finally and deciding it wants to eat this town or consume it in some way. Does that sound terrible enough for us?
Yeah, I like the idea that it's been sleeping and somehow something has happened to begin waking it up, and that's the kind of the horror of it, is that how do we stop it from waking up, or how do we put it back to sleep?
Right. Right. I mean, perhaps what's waking it up is all the activity in the town. You know, more people in the town coming to build the fucking resort and trampling in the woods. Sorry, my character is
That's Ruthie
possessing
talking.
me. Yeah, and they don't know what they're doing, right? And they're not honoring the proper spirits of the town, so they're basically just waking up this darkness.
Sounds good. I mean, by which I mean bad, very bad. Okay, awesome. And the body. So I'm just going to read straight from the book here. The discovery of the body begins in Act 1 as an introduction to the terrible events about to unfold. Players will have connections to the dead body either when that person was still alive or the circumstances of their death and discovery. So maybe we leave the details of that to be determined, right? In play. Anything else we want to add before we jump into our first scene? Okay. So I think maybe we can take a break and then get back. How does 5 to the hour sound?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're back and about to start our first scene. Mark.
So I think that Alex is we're looking at the back of the dripping dagger here still, right? I mean, that's reasonable. Okay. So maybe there is a somebody from the dripping dagger, an unnamed NPC, so that we don't have to spend a character point to establish them, is taking out the garbage and sees part of the body in the dumpster, puts in a call, and so Alex is arriving there, and Sheriff Barnes, or is that, do we want it to be more immediate than that? Dunno.
I mean, I think that's fair, right? You're maybe maybe whoever is dumping out the glasses or whatever doesn't realize they're dead and just thinks it's a drunk who
Yeah.
needs medical attention. Maybe Alex is drinking in the dripping dagger and gets called out, right? I don't know.
That's possible, yeah. So he's actually stopped. It's lunchtime. He's having a 1970s burger and a beer, which, that was a thing, right? And so he like puts down his burger and steps out back to where this person's being pointed out. And he's looking at the dumpster, and he says, "You better call Sheriff Barnes." And he walks over to the dumpster, finds the body, and starts checking for a pulse, but right away he notices that there's like morbidity, like rigor mortis has started to set in a little bit on those limbs. And by the way, let me know if I'm getting too close to any lines with that. And once he establishes that the body is is dead, he's going to start moving some of the garbage around just so he can see better at about what's happening. And we cut away. He's just removing a garbage bag that's covering the face, and we cut away to Barnes maybe pulling up in his
beaten up police cruiser, right?
yeah. Why is it beaten up?
No, normally I would say like something that's a remnant of the 70s, but obviously that would be latest technology right now. So yeah, maybe 50s or 60s, you know. Yeah. So, you know, anyone can spend, you know, obviously the spotlight player is kind of in charge making the final call, but if someone said, hey, it makes a lot of sense for my character to be here, you know, anyone can spend a point to bring in a new element. So yeah, the sheriff, you know, parks at the end of the alleyway and looks kind of bored. Maybe you didn't get the details from dispatch, or maybe you know Alex just said call the sheriff, you know, and wanders down and it's like you know you see the kind of shrug or deflation of the shoulders as he sees that it is Alex, because it's then oh boy, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, walks down the alleyway to the dumpster and says, "Need some help taking a whiz, huh?"
I'm glad you could pull yourself out of whatever you were up to make it over here. Unfortunately, and then he kind of shows Sheriff Barnes who it is, and should we establish now who that is?
Who do we think it is?
Does anybody really want someone that we've talked about so far to be the victim here? No? Then let's make it a one of the
I've got
one of
an
the
idea.
loggers. Oh, go.
Oh, the town elder is not in play, but the town elder has a NPC, the accountant.
Ooh, yes.
And you know, you know, if we're going to be suspicious and conspiracy theorists, it would be to do with the books on the resort. But you know, we haven't gotten there yet. But I think it's the town elder's accountant.
Perfect. It's Clifford, and somebody else is going to supply the last name because I came up with the brilliant Clifford.
Clifford Wallace.
Clifford Wallace. That's awesome. So hit Clifford, who of course wears those heavy black rimmed glasses, are kind of like his glasses are kind of still on, but they're broken and they're kind of askew. And wait, though, did we also say there was going to be something occultish about this? Did we want there to be something occultish? Yeah. Okay. So his I got to look at the lines here, I think. Does anybody have anything with eyes? I don't think I see anything with eyes. Is it okay if...
I think just dental trauma is the
Okay.
only face-related thing.
Is it okay if his eyes are missing, but his glasses are back on?
Yeah, he'll need his glasses then.
Yeah. So like someone has, and maybe there's like bloody fingerprints or bloody marks where someone has put those glasses back on.
Yeah.
Poor old Clifford. And can I, like, he is maybe like at the far corner of the dumpster, like looking at us, you know, his attention is on us as we peer in at him.
That's great. And he is naked except for the glasses. That's weird. Yeah. So Alex says, isn't this the accountant, Clifford Wallace?
Yeah, that's Wallace, all right. I mean, yeah.
Well, he's been dead at least overnight.
Well, let's you got a place to bring him? I think we might need some outside help.
Okay. We can take him to the clinic, or we're going in the back.
What do you think, Mark? Are we, when we're, getting inside this dumpster, do you think we might find, or maybe you have some details already, right? That will help us to get to the bottom of what's going on. So are you angling towards making this a scene towards the body?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So at the moment, we would be, or sorry, you're going to be rolling less. You're starting with 2 in the resolution pool.
Okay.
Do we think we have any help on this? We could introduce a new civilian if we wanted to.
Did I need to spend a point to bring you into the scene?
No. So the first PC you bring in is free.
Oh, okay.
And then additional PCs, NPCs, locations, items are all cost a point.
Okay. So, yeah, let's see. So when we do this, it would be the body, and then we would roll versus that. So let's bring. Into this particular scene, when we say bring in, add a new civilian, are we adding one of our existing civilians or a brand new civilian?
So
brand new, I think.
Brand new. So this could either be at your location or a completely kind of unmapped out NPC.
Okay. Gosh. Otherwise, at the end of this scene, I'm going to roll. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So you
and kind of see what the result of the scene is.
Yeah, you're rolling 2 dice versus 3 for the opposition.
It's 4 for the opposition, and
3.
are we just trying 3? Okay.
So you're looking for 4 pluses. 4 pluses are successes on the dice. Players win ties, so if you have as many successes as the opposition pool, we count as winning anyway.
Okay. Well, I think that I don't want to drag this out because I want to get to some more folks' scenes. So we'll kind of close on these 2 in the dumpster, removing the body and putting it into the cruiser for transport. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of a good way to bring in anyone else to get that extra die.
Is that the only way to get extra dice, to bring in new people?
So new locations, new people, new items, or what am I forgetting? New PCs. Sorry, not new PCs, existing PCs.
Wouldn't Sheriff Zach here give a die?
No, because I was sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm the reason Mark has a second dice.
Okay, that's
yeah.
And I could put a special item. Special item can be anything. I'm assuming maybe it could even be something related to the body.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it could be something medical, obviously, right? Or it could be something you find underneath the body. You know, it could be anything.
Maybe the special item is actually, in this case, ritual markings that have been carved into um, Clifford's arms, some kind of occult markings. Is that acceptable as a special item? Does anybody want to weigh in on that with a yay or nay that's not Donna? Who feels pressured to just... Yeah, okay, so we got... Yeah, Jose? Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah,
What
no,
do you
that's
got?
fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
All
awesome.
right,
So that gives you a third die.
okay. So I am going to go ahead and roll these dice. I hope I'm doing this correctly. I got one success and they got 3 successes, so
Wow.
it's a failure.
It's a failure.
And that's going to be remove a die from the body and either remove 1 die from the event or add 1 to the darkness. Okay, first, you're welcome, everyone, after that awesomeness. So remove 1 from the
Thank you
body.
for going for
So it goes down to 4, and then remove 1 from the event or add 1 to the darkness.
Yeah.
The darkness was starting out at 1, or is it
Yeah.
starting out at... Okay.
Starting out at 1. Yeah.
So I'm going to put it to 2.
Okay.
Okay.
And do we think we get, like, maybe not as characters, but you know, as the audience, do we think we get an inkling or some kind of sign of what that means
In terms of the darkness
in
manifesting?
terms of the darkness? Yeah.
What's
Oh, I
something
mean,
kind of...
if you want to, oh, go ahead.
No, please. I'm looking for something evocative.
As you like, I assume, are you doing the autopsy initially? Like the
Yeah,
preliminary
that'll happen at some
autopsy?
point. Yeah.
I think you open his mouth and it has just been packed full of leaves.
Nice. That's nice and creepy. Excellent. Thank you.
Where are we tracking the dice for the pillars?
So in the character tab, on the very left, there's 3 boxes for those 3 pillars. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I guess it's me next, and I think maybe fictionally, we I think maybe we are not in the infirmary, but like after the infirmary. Maybe I am heading. No. I think I'm gonna have maybe the sheriff is hanging up after calling in Clara North, so that's kind of her entrance clarion call. Stephen, do you think like talking about that is worthwhile, or do we just want to see Clara appear when you're due a scene?
Sure. I'm actually, I think like maybe that's actually like maybe just a montage. And are we like opening with like the sheriff like meeting me on the train at the train station? Like
Yeah.
it's like a cold drizzly day. And I don't know if like would the sheriff be someone to have an umbrella, or would you just be wearing your sheriff jacket and hat?
Umbrella? Like, no.
Yeah.
Where do you think we are?
No, I know. I mean, we're on the West Coast. People like the it's a rainy place. Uh, uh, sure. Yeah, I just you have a hat on. I think I step out in like a jacket. How long have you been sheriff? Would you have been sheriff when I was young, or
Maybe like a deputy when you were here last, or when you left, right?
And what kind of scene is this we're doing? I also wanted to clarify.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we want to. No, you know what? I think I want to make this scene about like repairing Zach and Alex's relationship.
Okay.
And I know that you two dated, so 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 while I maybe have some material, I'm here really to bring you to where the body is. I'm going to be like asking you questions about Alex, or trying to get a read on, what's up his ass.
I think I do step off and I go, Sheriff Barnes?
Miss North, Clara, glad you can make it so quickly.
Well, when a body turns up, the state likes to make certain that things are handled quickly. Didn't expect that you would have made. Didn't expect to see you here. Didn't expect to hear that you would become sheriff.
Really? What have people been saying? Or you just didn't think I was, in your teenage wisdom, the right kind of guy to steer this town the right way?
Well, you always seemed like the sort of guy that preferred taking orders to giving them.
Wow. Well,
I don't mean that in a. I don't mean that in a bad way. You just seemed happy as a deputy.
well, I am equally happy being a sheriff. Thought you were gonna say, with all due respect, there for a minute, and then I knew I was in trouble. But listen, the other reason is, well, you know who our local medic is, Alex Hallwell. I know you two were a thing, so I just want to make sure that there's not going to be any personal animus between.
Maisie is just like there in the ticket booth, like just kind of like very like oh, I'm just looking through these documents here, not listening in at all.
I mean, I think that is worth me spending a character point to, get some free advice from Maisie, if that sounds all right.
Sure. What does that look like mechanically?
No, she's not a new NPC. So
yeah, that's what I wouldn't know if
yeah.
this was an extra thing.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good color. Yeah, I think the sheriff is well aware of Maisie's particulars in this regard. So kind of walks you over to the car, tipping a hat to Maisie, and wondering whether the town telegraph will be afire with this.
Yeah, there's just immediately a call in the phone line. both Lorraine's and Ruthie's phones ring at some point. Well, you never guess who I saw today coming in through the station. It was that girl that broke poor Alex's heart.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the present.
So I think whatever Clara can give Zach in terms of a personal read on Alex, but I think maybe there's going to be like when we do arrive at the infirmary, there'll be a moment where maybe Zach sees Alex react to Clara's arrival, if that sounds okay, Mark, and that
Sure.
helps him to
you're
get
spending a character point here? Okay.
I'm going to spend a character point to bring in Alex. If that's all right, Mark, yeah. That would give me a third die in my resolution. What do you think the reaction is from Alex?
So, are you're bringing Clara to the clinic office in this case, right? So I think that Alex has been like trying to make drawings of these occultish symbols that have been carved into the arms of Clifford, and so he's concentrating on that, and then he hears the door open to the exam room and looks up and sees Clara, and there's like this quick look of consternation and confusion, and then he he smiles and sets down the drawing pad and says Clara, and walks over to greet Clara.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely an awkward moment where, like, are we gonna hug? Are we gonna shake hands? And I think ultimately we settle for this like awkward handshake. And I say, so the sheriff brought me here to see your body. And there's a pause, and I say, the one in the I think you have it in storage.
Yeah. Absolutely. You look great. Sheriff Barnes, thank you. Just, having Clara here. Dr. North, I guess. This should be really valuable and trying to figure out what's going on here. Well, let me show you what we've got. And then he goes over, and there's not really there's not a cold storage unit, I guess, here, like a mortuary kind of situation. But he takes the sheet off of the rest of the body that is there, so that you can see what we're dealing with.
So,
and we're not really doing versus the body here.
Yeah,
so I think we don't find anything particularly immediate here. But
yeah, this is solving the problem of Alex and Zach's relationship rather than the body. So
so maybe how do we kind of push that a little bit, because I feel like we aren't, like, which way would you say we're solving the relationship?
So I think, I guess one of the things is that, seeing this old relationship and how both parties react to it, like, helps Zach understand Alex a bit more, possibly.
Okay.
But also maybe there's something about their shared past, leaving versus not leaving.
Okay.
That helps. But I think what I can do is I'll roll now, and depending on the outcome, either Zach will learn something new or that changes his mind for the better or worse.
Okay.
If that sounds all right, Mark. So roll. So there's a 5 on both, and ties win, so that works out. So, Mark, what do you think? And in terms of the relationship switching, it can be either of those cult dice between us, not necessarily my opinion of you, but your opinion of me. But maybe tell us what you think Zach sees that kind of changes this dynamic a little bit.
So Zach is the one who's changing a perception of Alex.
Or the other way around. Maybe
Okay.
this is like, because it's the relationship between us that I'm fixing. It can be either one of those dice,
I think, yeah, my thought is Alex is a little bit high on seeing Clara for the first time, but also feels like Sheriff Barnes is being proactive in, calling in the big guns to kind of like deal with the situation, as opposed to the way that Alex usually feels, which is that Sheriff Barnes isn't doing enough.
Yeah.
So I would change that cult. Is that the way that this works?
Yeah. So we're going to flip that to height, and then like you can change that, because at the moment it feels Barnes isn't doing enough. So you can like change that to a more positive spin, right?
Yep. Okay.
Sorry, so let me just double check the rules on this. That is, replace one cult die with a height die, and then I get a character point. Okay, so that's scene, I think. So yeah, let's Max, do you have a scene for Ruthie?
I think that Ruthie would like to get together with her sister, because this learning about this body is sort of setting something in motion for her around like knowing something about what it means. And so she wants to work on repairing her relationship with Lorraine in order to get more people on the side of stopping the desecration of the woods that is leading to the growth of the darkness. So, can we have a scene in the cafe? Lorraine, will that be okay with you?
Yep.
And mechanically, do I need to do anything for that?
No, the cafe already exists as a location. So yeah, is this like a formal invitation, or you grab her on the street, or what's the? Because I have to imagine Lorraine doesn't go into Ruthie's domain all too often.
No, right. They each have their own separate businesses that they frequent. Right. Lorraine is at the brothel, and Ruthie's at the cafe. So I imagine Ruthie calls Lorraine on the landline, and Lorraine doesn't pick up, but Ruthie says into her answering machine, "Lorraine, we need to talk. Meet me at the cafe." And she just hangs up. And she knows that Lorraine will hear it and will come. And so, cut to the cafe. Yes,
cut to the cafe.
Lorraine.
Yeah, I'd imagine Lorraine. Right. We see a shot of Lorraine coming through the front door to the cafe, and maybe there's a bell on the door. I know cafes don't always have bells, but this one does. And I think it's kind of a quiet time. It's like mid-afternoon now, and so there's not a lot of people, and you see Lorraine kind of casting her eyes across the cafe, and she sees Ruthie sitting in a booth towards the back. She sees the back of Ruthie's head, actually. And so then we see her slip into the booth across from Ruthie. And she says, "That sounded important. What can I do for you, sister?"
You got a call from, what's her name? Maisie?
Maisie,
Is
yeah.
that her name? You get a call from Maisie?
Yeah, I did. I hear you got one as well. Or no doubt you got one as well, since Maisie always calls in everyone she can when she finds out something juicy. God damn it.
I know they got that. I know there was that body found in the dumpster behind your place.
Shit. It had to be there, right? I try to keep that place clean, Ruthie. And here someone goes dump my body? What the hell?
Listen.
Tell
You
me.
know what this is. You know what this is. The darkness. That darkness that's been sleeping for most of our generation. It's coming back. You and me, we gotta patch things up. Because we need to be on the right side of this situation. And I know you like that resort, but it is doing so much damage. The eyes are seeing it all. The eyes are seeing it.
Well, what the hell is
And
going
you
on with the
know
darkness?
too much activity in the woods. We need to leave the woods be.
Well, what does the resort have to do with the woods? Who's going into the woods? I keep a
Everybody.
close eye on there.
I know you do, and you are not what's bothering the woods. It's the other people. All the people coming into the woods, doing drugs, doing all kinds of who knows what, and stirring up the spirits. Stirring them up.
So what do you suggest I do? I can't put the kibosh on the resort. Everyone in town's real excited about it. I'm not the only one. How do we keep the woods asleep? Because that's what you're talking about, right? That shit
We got
waking
to
up.
get rid of the people. We got to get rid of the people. Too many people. Resorts bringing too many people. You got plenty of income without all those extra people coming in for that fucking resort.
You might have a point, sister. I don't want dead
We
bodies
got to
showing
get
up
on
in
the
the
right
dumpsters.
side of this. I know it. I know you don't. That's going to be the death of you and your business.
I need a cup of coffee. Where is that waitress? Don't they give no service here? Do you just sit here? Or do you ever eat anything, Ruthie?
I got my
Marge!
coffee.
Now, Lorraine,
Marge!
I make sure to be extra slow for when you're coming in, Lorraine, because you're gonna complain no matter no matter how fast I serve y'all.
Just pour me a cup, Marge, and don't get on my case. Me and my sister got business to talk about. And you got any cream for that? Because what we're talking about is kind of bitter, and I need something to cut it.
Bring us some sugar, Marge.
Oh, sugar. I haven't had sugar in my coffee in years, Ruthie.
These times call for these kinds of measures.
Yeah, she does. She brings that out.
You got any pie back there, Marge? Since I'm indulgent today.
We got a pie, but we put out a new pie every once every week, right? We don't make a pie in between that.
So how long has that pie been in that stand, you're telling me?
About 2 weeks now.
And I don't want no pie now.
fruit cocktail pie.
I'm fine with my coffee. All right.
So Lorraine, huh?
I want to pause here for 1 second. Just hit the pause button. So, if there's ways to bring in, so we're ultimately going to make a roll about relationship. Max is going to make a roll about relationship. What are the possibilities for adding dice to that roll that we could weave into the narrative?
So there's a list on the rule summary. So you can spend a character point to introduce a new PC, add a new location, add a new NPC, or add a new special item. Maybe a 2-week-old pie is really gonna carry the deal. And all those new aspects will get you an extra die in the resolution of this scene.
So basically, you're spending a character point to get another dice.
Yeah,
for the pool.
And there's something that happens related to that.
Yeah. All right, I'm all ears, sister. What are we going to do? You and I cannot put the kibosh on the resort, but is there any way we can keep people from wandering into the woods? Scare them. That's what we can do. How do we scare them?
Oh, sister, I like the way you think.
We could come up with some crazy rumors.
Well, we already have a body. We have a body. You know what happened to that body? That body had no eyes. That body was marked.
Well, I think we should
what's going on.
Spread that story around. What if we put some marks
on
the
trees? Well, people have to know that body came from the woods. What about the tree? We put some marks on some trees? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, near the trailhead. Mark the woods. So maybe I'll spend a character point for a new, is it a special item? Special item? Marks on the trees, even though we're not doing it right now?
Or you could add the, I guess
I could add the location.
The woods, right?
The woods. We don't have a location called the woods, and we really need that. So that would be very useful. To
so
us.
the Callisto River State Park is on the second row of locations as something we have borrowed from Alice is Missing. So you could grab that or
yeah, let's just grab that. Yeah.
Maybe it's not even the Callisto State Park yet.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But there is a trailhead there. Oops. All right, that sounds like a plan. Maybe we can keep the people out of the woods. We can't stop the resort right away, but we keep the people out of the woods, and then until we can find a more permanent solution to our darkness problem, because this ain't going away, Ruthie. Even if the people stop walking, my feeling is something is waking up there.
I know you're right. Stepping outside of character for a second to say, I also want to add something here, an item, and the item is the eyes on one of the paintings in the cafe are moving. As soon as we start talking about scaring people, the eyes move toward us. So I guess that adds something, and I don't know where to mark that, but
yeah. So in both cases, you're spending one of your character points.
Okay, so I mark that.
And then Jose, Max, this is your scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are rolling 4 dice in your resolution pool. So drag 2 down from above the label to below, and then roll those
from above opposition pool.
So from above resolution pool.
Oh no,
the red ones.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're gonna click on those 4 dice underneath resolution pool, and then click on the 3 dice that are currently under opposition pool, and then at the bottom of that
Okay.
screen, click on the reroll.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So that
and
looks like
any it looks like a tie-ish.
so
Wait,
it's
no.
the number of 4 pluses in each pool. So it
There you go.
looks
Okay, well, opposition pool has 2 and
Yeah.
resolution pool has 1. Oh shit.
We're rolling great.
so for having a personal scene, you get a character point back, but nothing changes in this relationship. I wonder, why not? As you're doing this in the woods or whatever, do you think the old ways that you treat each other come back, or what happens?
Well, I think that Lorraine is clearly unwilling to even enter the subject of opposing the resort. And so I am sort of trying to pretend like we're on the same side, but I'm secretly noting that she's actually not budging. So our alliance is not
The underlying issue
very
has
helpful.
not been resolved.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm just looking at the time. We're kind of all out. Are we happy to pause here and pick up with our scenes next week?
Sure.
Okay. So let me stop the recording and we'll do our debrief.